Hello, thank you for coming and joining me to talk about myself today. You're basically going to be listening to a biography about me talking about, myself. So, my name's Alexandria Barnett, and I chose to talk about my childhood and how it molded me to the person I am today. So, first, I'm going to go over my background, where I'm from. So I have lived in Maryland majority of my life. I've lived in North Carolina in between those years. So I lived in Maryland since I was about 3 months old till I was 11 years old. And in between those years, I lived in North Carolina since I was 4 and up until I was 11 years old. Now, my parents got married when I was 4 years old, so that's why I moved to North Carolina, because my stepdad was stationed at a military base in Virginia, which was not that far from where we lived in North Carolina. It was actually right on the border. And I had to grow up with two step siblings, which their names are Kaylee and Zach. Kaylee's about 2 years older than me, Zach's about 5. And I I did stand out as a child. Especially in my family, because I'm biracial, and my my parents and my step siblings are not. They are white, or as you would say it, Caucasian. So I did stand out a lot in that in my family. But more to talking about my where I grew up. I grew up in South Mills, North Carolina, and it's a very nice town. It's a very rural area, so it's good to like raise kids and everything. And my parents, they did their best to raise us. They literally kept us on our feet a lot, from taking us to Busch Gardens, which was only like an hour away from where we lived, and the Outer Banks a lot. So they did their best to keep us entertained. Now, on with how I was at school, which molded me the most. So I felt like I stood out at school a lot because there wasn't a lot of kids of my color there, and I I grew up in an all-white family, so I did stand out a lot. And I also had really bad anxiety growing up also, which made me who I am today, because I learned how to control it. And that's why I am like more outgoing and confident than I was back when I was younger. And growing up biracial, there's not a lot of say in it on my end of which community I belong to, whether I belong to a white community or I belong more to my Black African American community. I feel like I was stuck in the middle of both. I really didn't have a choice which one I belonged to, and that's always been like a question of mine, what community I belong to. I grew up, before my parents got married. It was just me and my mom and my two half brothers who did not live with us when I was growing up. And yeah, my dad was never there, but what I learned is that I can accept myself for who I am, and I don't have to change myself for other people. And I'm happy where I stand right now. I don't care like what community I belong to, because at the end of the day, I am a person, I am a human being, and I love myself for it. And I'm glad that the challenges I faced growing up made me who I am today. Thank you.